2, 3, freeze!
Strong in that quarter was fantastic.
That's the other side. It's Mike Bjornson who will have it. So Bjornson will send this one high and down the line. Everybody goes up. 1, 2 bites of the cherry. Got it defensively. A huge defensive mark taken there by Dan Stevens. Stevens, a national teamer from a long time ago, kicks this one up the left side. Goes down. Adeni able to get to it. He was a top player at the Central Regionals as well, but he had his pocket picked. Kicked up on the way, and it is deflected through. And it's there for a goal. I thought that was going to be deflected on the line, but it did just make it through first. And on the Watch AFL scoreboard, the North Texas Devils have kicked their third. They go to 3-1-19, no score for Minnesota, and right now the Devil is in the details.
Red alert, freeze. Have got to get a stop here. They can't continue to bleed goals. These, Brian, we've talked about it before. These are short-sided games, like 2 halves of football, the equivalent of 2 quarters in this tournament format. So there's not as much time to recover and come back. Concede another one, I think they might be sunk.
Yeah, absolutely. They might be completely thawed, you might say, as the ball will have a secondary ball up in the middle of the ground. So, Freeze Division 2 champions on a couple of occasions, 2007, 2012, and then again in 2018. Nice mark taken, and they're getting good defensive plays, and once again, that's Little Fish. It's not Mark Fisher, that's Brent Fisher. I keep calling him his dad, who's the head coach of the women's team, coached them to the championship a season ago. Marked on the far side now by Walsh. A nice play by Hanson. Up on the far side, they handball it on, dropped. Everybody going after the pill, everybody forgetting it now for a moment. Handball back, we have a whistle.
The North Texas dominance through the middle of the ground has forced the Freeze to play the boundary, and that's much to the Devils' advantage, right? They're not as dangerous on the sides of the ground as they are up the middle. So the Freeze trying to build up the side right now, and they're still feeling a lot of the pressure there. It's been a hard slog.
It really has been, and it's going to be scrappy this early in the morning. And we didn't get a chance to assess. I don't know if you get a chance, SARS, to check the field. I know it was a little bit dewy yesterday. They did do some sprinkles on the field last night, so there should still be a little bit of moisture for these first 2 games.
Yeah, I don't think that the skills have been unclean as a result, but it was wet. The kind of under the turf is very, very damp. It'll burn off quickly, but the ball should be a little slick probably.
Everything was a little bit damp, including the equipment yesterday after they that's okay. Josh Friday was knocked sideways. A man who was born in Liberia. And this one is sent in short. The mark taken and played on quickly there by 13 for the Devils. There is no 13 on the roster. Figures enough. And this one is sent out, but it's marked and taken. This is Zorni, who will play on quickly. Don Soda, Zach Canterbury sends this one down the line. Almost taking the mark, moves down. Canterbury is there, however, to rove the crumbs. He handballs it off. Kick on the way. It's an ugly kick. It's off to the left. Punched over the boundary line and out of bounds. It'll be a boundary throw-in, roughly about 10 meters around. The Devils, though, and you can see Canterbury's play there. He stayed with the football. That's one thing in trainings, and John Loring, the head coach of the Philadelphia Hawks when I played, you always follow your kicks. You don't just, it's not, pro peel. It's not set it and forget it. You're always responsible for it. We'll play this in front as this one is off the side of the foot. That would have been a goal and a half, but it just went to the left and through for another minor score. 3-2-20, Watch AFL scoreboard, no score. The Devils in front here in Division 3.
Yeah, we'll see how the Freeze choose to build out here. Kick probably goes out to the boundary. I'd love to see him get inboard after that, but really what North Texas is giving him is on the boundary, and that's the only place the Freeze have had success moving the ball forward yet.
On the far side now as the Freeze trying to get something going. We'll tell you that the wind is blowing to the left this morning, left of screen this morning towards the pickleball courts. Game time temperature right now 67 degrees. As SARS alluded to, it is going to be a little hotter today. The high temperature yesterday ended up being 81. It's forecast to be 88 Fahrenheit today, and you all have Google so you can figure out what it is in Celsius. I want to say about 28.
15 to 28.
Yeah.
We're expecting to get up around 28.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit warmer, but for all the worry when the announcement was made last year that it was going to be much hotter than it was, it was going to be that it was going to be much hotter than it was. I think everybody will take a high of 88 with no humidity.
100%, Brian. It's been absolutely gorgeous, and Tucson's dialed up an absolute beauty for us from a weather perspective.
And other than the clouds that we saw coming in Thursday or Friday, it has been an absolutely pitch-perfect blue sky here today as the ball comes back in and then is wrapped up on the intent side of the field because there are people over there in tents. That is my one joke quota for that for today. The ball will come across and it's going to get picked off a blade of grass there.
Finally inboard there for the Freeze. They're going to get a more direct angle of attacking to the 50.
Ball goes to ground, and except it's not going to last terribly long as they go through, and the Devils claim it. So on. They did a good job to at least find some handballs. That was a gaga pass. Really dodgeball for a second. Ball goes to ground. Friday is in there, and finally he's able to get it out to the near side or check that. That was it was Friday. Ball goes to ground. Here is Bish who sends this one across. Gonna get picked up. A wayward kick. It's marked in front. We heard a whistle, but
trying to figure out, I think he's paying this downfield. So penalty right around the 50. I think he signaled a push in the back.
Yep.
And then we're going to pay it downfield because the kick was away at the time. So we'll have a shot on goal here from Robertson.
Captain Ian Robertson. It's almost, if you're familiar with gridiron football, it's almost like a pass interference downfield call. They pay it from the spot. So here is Ian Robertson. The Freeze need a goal. The kick is up on its way. It looks good, and it is. Ian Robertson and the Freeze needed that one quickly with 5 minutes to go or thereabouts here in this first half. They go to one straight 6. It's back to a 14-point gulf. North Texas 3-2-20. That's on the Watch AFL scoreboard with Dan Sarbacker.
Like poorly made bread, Brian. They needed it badly. The Freeze needed that one very badly. But they steady with the score there. I was talking about earlier, I want to see them come inboard more. They did that time. They got their forward 50 entries, and I realized that the closer shot on goal was as a result of a penalty, but it's because they were putting pressure up the guts of the field.
Red puns are how we make our dough, SARS, as the ball goes back to the far side.
The breaking theme is thick.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Well, there's enough turnovers here sometimes to open up a bakery up on the far side as the ball comes out of bounds. Woo, we're whipping out the dad jokes early, aren't we?
And for you listening at home, if you like our jokes, how about you holla?
Oh, well, Rosh Hashanah was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm overdue on that one, but
no, it's okay. That's okay. We hope you're having fun listening to it at home, and we appreciate everybody's patience with the gremlins we had yesterday. And it's Jerry Long is out here doing a fantastic job, Ani, and everybody else who's bringing you these pictures and the sound and everything else. We have this is most comprehensive coverage we've had, and we'll tell you that if you're looking for some of the other games, we have all the games recorded, so we will have them on this YouTube channel at some point in the coming days as the ball comes in, got by McLuhan, and the Devils able to get it out as Austin Thomas was able to find a handball. They kicked it forward, and they'll get it away quickly. Here come the Devils. Handball through the middle of the ground, picked up by Bartnett. Goes through. Some pressure there by the Freeze and sent on down the line where it's marked. And here comes Murgo, Brent Mergen. The worm-burning, finger-breaking, mongrel up-country punt. If you mess that up, you'll get a few of the producers mad, and the ball goes out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw-in.
Freeze getting what they want there. Lots of pressure right along that half forward in the mid-lines. Just a spraying kick for clearance out of North Texas. Murgo collects that, but he doesn't square up. He's kicking back towards the boundary. If he can come back inboard again immediately and put that pressure on again, North Texas's defense, Freeze could be knocking on the door again.
Well, they had the one opportunity so far. They made it count. They're going to need a couple more. The good news is that unless something changes, they'll be kicking to the Christopher Cross side, which is with the wind coming up in the second half. But the North Texas Devils are going to try and milk it as much as they can with less than 3 minutes to go. An intercept there taken by Fisher, but it's smothered, and it bounced right to a teammate. Stevens back to Fisher, comes down the ground, and it's marked defensively, and the North Texas Devils have ended that.
A little bit of back and forth, and that's because of the pressure on the kickers. Kickers aren't getting good contact on the ball to direct it where they want to. It's going to opposition instead of teammates.
Nice mark by Orr, who turns this one inside. 1-2 bounces of the cherry. Fisher didn't get good purchase on that kick, but finally does and kicks it out towards the beer tent. Co-sponsored by 2 of our 3 major sponsors. Visit Tucson as well as Cooper's Beer and Tasmanian. And we should tell you, if you hadn't heard the news, that Tasmania, proud sponsor of the USAFL, and the Island State is just committed to being a major partner for the USAFL for the next 5 years. And Emily Minson, who is here at the ground, of course, she is doing she has been with us for the last couple of years, wonderful representative of Tasmania. And here, go say hello to her if you are here at the ground, and thank her and the rest of the government here for Tasmania for their work over the last couple of years.
Yeah, we got to have dinner with her last night, Brian. It's always good to catch up, kind of hear what's going on and important in her world, but we are very appreciative of the continued partnership.
She is the trade ambassador from Tasmania to the U.S., so they've been, as we said, they've been a fantastic partner the last couple of years, and they will be for the future. And speaking of the future, I see another point in the future of the North Texas Devils, as that one has gone through for yet another behind. So,
boy, nothing interesting going on in trade, imports, tariffs, or any of that these days, is there?
Yeah, something like that.
I can't imagine how challenging her job is right now.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll say that Troy Thompson, who from World Footy News, who's over on the other field commentating, he's been proved to be a very good mailman for some of the stuff. In fact,
yeah.
I was going to say, if you happen to see me, I'm wearing one of the things he brought over, which is this really cool little Pride heart pin.
Oh, nice.
That Darcy Green, who's an author, designed that as part of a line of products to give her a free plug as the ball goes to ground. Going to get picked up. Staying with it there was Chris Williams and CJ. Able in there. Big tech, big crash boom opera, as the words are not flowing as quickly as they will in about 3 hours' time. And we'll have a ball up directly in front again, 21-6. It's a 15-point lead for the Devils, who have the ball in attack, and that will do it. Halftime here in the first game of the day, last game in pool play in Division III, and it's the North Texas Devils, 3 goals, 3 behinds at 21 points. The Minnesota Freeze 1 straight 6. The Devils putting on a lot of pressure. The Freeze are still hanging around. It looked like it was going to be an avalanche early on, but the Freeze have done well to parry away some of these attacks and keep the game within sight. As we say, they'll have the win in the second half.
Yeah, good synopsis. Freeze probably be emboldened by the fact they will, I'll call it a 1-goal breeze. Coming out of the southeast this morning, that'll help push the ball downfield for them. I want to see them get a little more direct. They've attempted to switch, but not quickly enough. We saw that one sequence where Brent Fisher was actually smothered just recently trying to clear the ball and switch play. The Freeze started having success when they were getting back inboard again. That switch can work, but you want to target the middle of the ground and get numbers to it. If they can do that, they're back in this game. North Texas shuts it down, continues doing what they're doing. They're going to run away with this.
And a reminder, of course, that this will also depend on the other game that we have going on Field 3 to determine who wins this particular group. The Boston-Philadelphia combination is taking on Portland. Of course, if Boston/Philly wins that game, then they're into the grand final. But if Portland should stage an upset, I don't believe we have a score yet. We have some great volunteers.
Just came in.
Oh, we just have it. Thank you very much. Well, we have one from the other field. We have Chicago 2-1-13 leading Columbus 1-2-8. Those teams are right behind Arizona, the game that's happening that's on Field 3. Arizona and Nashville waiting for a score for that. That's to be the top of Pool A. So right now we're ticketed towards an all-Hawks grand final, unless something comes up. We're going to take a break, come right back with the second half of this one. You're watching the 2025 we're going to have, after a word from our sponsor, after this, you're watching the 2025 USAFL National Championships, brought to you by Tasmanian. Second half of the 2020 of this game here at the 2025 USAFL National Championships presented by Tasmanian. It's the let's try it again. The North Texas Devils leading the Minnesota Freeze 21-6 in this men's Division III game, the last game of pool play here on Championship Sunday. Brian Barish alongside Dan Sarbacker and SARS. Minnesota, as we said, have the wind, although the wind is now seemingly blowing cross field directly away from us. But all the same, the Freeze, you would think if they have a chance here, they need to kick a goal in the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, wind south out of the southeast, maybe trending towards south, so that becomes less of an advantage for the players because it's more of a crosswind. But they got to do the work on the ground. They can't count on the wind. They need numbers at the football. They need to play up the guts when they can and put pressure into the forward 50 against North Texas.
Dan, that's the weather report from Dan Hurricane Sarbacher. As the ball is up on the far side now. What are the names of those mountains again?
Santa Catalina, I believe. And a huge thanks to Visit Tucson for setting those up for us as a nice backdrop. That was kind of them.
Yeah, we were Catalina's and Sabina.
Sabina to the east. I think, is it the Tucson Mountains to the west and I've tried to get my geography yesterday. Luis, one of the volunteers helping us on the broadcast here, is getting us corrected.
So I've been calling that the highway end. That's the Sabina end because you've got the Sabina Mountain behind us.
Very good.
That's the pickleball end, or we could call that the Tucson Mountain end. But the pickleball court's a little bit more prominence. And kicking towards that pickleball end is Mr. Josh Friday, who sends this one for rather that is a Denier. It holds up for McLuhan, who bats it towards the sticks. Looks like the Devils will concede the behind, and they will as Sobel takes it to safety. And the first score of the game goes to the Minnesota Freeze. That's on the Watch AFL scoreboard, 1-1-7, I believe. Let's just make sure they've waved that off, and they have. So 1 goal, 1-7 behinds to 3-3-21, and it doesn't look like they've gotten the memo over there on the scoreboard just yet.
Clever by Sobel there to just rush that behind. It takes the pressure off. Instead of conceding 6, you concede 1, then you've got possession and the kick out. They go far to the far boundary, but the Freeze here have rebounded back inside and marked inside forward 50 with a shot on goal coming.
Yep, and so they'll have the opportunity here to, as we said, they needed a goal in the first 3 minutes. We're inside that particular zone. Kick will come from roughly 40 meters out. Kick is on the way, and it did just sneak in. So goal to the Minnesota Freeze, and we have ourselves a ball game. Watch AFL scoreboard, Minnesota, 2 goals, 1 behind, 13 points. North Texas Devils, 3-3-21, back to 9 points. Game on, SARS.
Yeah, nice rebound there. They put the pressure on the sticks. They managed to lock in so that the kick out there from Sobel, Freeze worked hard to get that ball back in, so rebounded immediately back inside 50. North Texas really never gained possession. Quick mark and a quick goal. This is exactly the start the Freeze wanted.
8 points the difference. My maths are still, I've not almost done my coffee as the ball goes to ground. And the ball is going to get picked up as they try and get it out of there. Zach Weaver is on top of his man, giving Kyle Bass a big old bear hug. And we'll have a ball up about in between. I would say we'll call that the true center half forward position for the Minnesota Freeze, wearing the blue with the traditional icicles right in front. Ryan McLuhan. They call him Hanger for a reason. And the veteran forward has brought Minnesota back to within a straight kick on the Watch AFL scoreboard. Minnesota 3-3-19, North Texas 3-3-21. And all of a sudden, 3-1-19. Yep. Did I not say that?
Dream start for the Freeze here. This is exactly what they needed. We talked about it in the first half when North Texas had kicked 3 straight. The Freeze needed to steady and not give up that fourth. They did. Ended up getting a goal. They get 2 quick ones here in the second half, and we have a ball game.
3-1-19 to 3-3-21. 2 points. Finally adjusted it over across the way. I'm glad somebody kicked their shin. So
the key that on that play, Weaver, one of their big men in the forward line, applying that pressure, applying a tackle just to get the tie up. They got another ball up and ended up maybe just squidding the ball forward to the full forward, who put a nice turn on and slotted it.
Yeah, and a good job by McLuhan, who has taken many of those. And speaking of taking many of those, here's Brent Mergen, the Minnesota farmer. He played in Western Australia a long time ago, earlier in his career. Ball goes to ground.
Great intercept mark off the halfback, and that's what he's known for, Mergen, and then being able to rebound and play forward.
Bergianis against Sobel, the two number 9s. Bergie won the football, but the ball goes. It's going to get given as a free kick going back the other way. So the Devils hanging on to a 2-point lead. Still plenty of time in this one. Again, winner of this game, a short of second place, which isn't good enough for the grand final. Still waiting a word from what's happening at the Boston/Philly taking on Portland game, as the Demon Hawks combination, if they win, they go into the grand final. As we said, neither team thinking about that. They just want to win this game and let the chips fall where they may. And best case scenario, they're playing in the grand final. Worst case scenario, they're drinking beer at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier. The winner here needs some help to go through. Freeze a little bit higher mountain to climb because they are behind on percentage from North Texas. So first and foremost, got to win, but then they got to pump some goals in. So actually have a scenario where if the help comes through in the other game, if North Texas loses here, but only by a small margin, their percentage could still carry them through, even though head-to-head against the Freeze, they ended up losing here.
Yeah, so there's definitely the possibility. Well, there's the possibility that, we'll say this, if the Devils lose, they'll be 1-2. They will be completely out of it. If the Freeze win, they're the ones that would have to rely on percentage. I guess a little bit more of the percentage boost. But that is ifs and nuts and candy and butts. Ifs and butts and candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. I don't know why I attempted that this early in the morning as the ball is up on the far side, and it's going to get handballed on. Here come the Freeze, sending this one on the way. This is for the lead. And the Freeze have hit the front with 3 straight goals here in this second half. They have come out firing. In the words of Grillo, like straight shooting son of a guns. They got a 4-1-25. North Texas 3-3-21. And now it's all one-way traffic towards the pickleball courts.
Watching Danny Hansen here on the near wing, former Revolution player, number 77, just clap as that happened. I'm not sure he's gotten a touch the second half. Hasn't had to. The ball's been entirely on the far side of the field, but the Freeze have done a good job of getting back corridor, targeting their forwards when need be, and they're running hot with their tails up right now.
Ball will come back in the middle once again. Up on the far side, and here comes Minnesota, trying to pump the ball down the ground. They'll go out to the far side. McLuhan was looming, but the ball overshot everybody. Just kept it in by the field of play. Now turns around, swing around on a sixpence, as they would say back home. Ball comes back in, going to get picked up, stripped and dispossessed. Throwing himself in at the football there was Bjornsson once again. Up on the far side now, we're up against the tents. Good pressure. Again, Bjornsson harassing his opponent. Did he get the ball? No, it was high tackle. High contact, so the Devils with the free kick, and they do so through Chapman, who was busy in the game we saw yesterday. Up on the far side now, in front of the San Diego Lions tent. Ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. It'll be a boundary throw-in once again with the Freeze on the Watch AFL scoreboard, hanging on to a 4-point lead with about 8 gone here in this second half and final term.
Arias, a minute ago, it chose to go wide after taking a mark for the Freeze instead of right back up the guts. As a coach, you might be just shaking your head saying, oh, no, right up the middle. That's where we've been effective so far.
Ball comes back into the forward line. Denny was in there, but a whistle, and it will be a free kick going to the Freeze. So they've earned a couple of free kicks inside the 50-meter arc. Swinging out to the near side for a wide-open McLuhan. Haga was the first person I met at the airport at Nationals when I came in Colorado Springs in 2008. Just saw him standing out in front, tossing a ball up in the air. He said, "Hi, I'm Haga from the Minnesota Freeze." I was like, wow, I've come all this way from Philadelphia to bump into more footy people. What are the odds? As McLuhan strides in, yes! 4 in a row for the Minnesota Freeze. McLuhan with his second of the game. Watch AFL scoreboard, 5-1-31, and it's a 10-point lead.
So we'll sound that red alert the other direction now. So four in a row this half, like you said, Brian, 5 in a row going back to the first half for the Freeze after going down 3 straight kicks. North Texas needs to find a way to stop this. The script is totally flipped. North Texas has been playing out towards the boundaries now because that's what the Frees have been giving them. Frees having more success and more numbers around the ball, and they've been much more direct with their play, forward 50 entries. That angle of attack is working for them this time, not that stuff where they're going around the boundary to get inside 50.
And we should say, yesterday there was a bit of a breeze, and it was a little bit of a factor. It wasn't a whole lot of a factor. We say the breeze is now blowing to our left this time, officially at 5 miles an hour with gusts to 12. So it is perhaps maybe giving the Devils a little bit of, or rather the Frees, rather a little bit more of this advantage. We said that they would have it in the second half, and they sure as heck have been using it. But for now,
well, it's not a 5-goal breeze. They've been doing the work.
They really have been.
Get maybe one from that, but it's not. Umpire just went down there.
Well, we'll check in and.
Can't tell if he slipped. He lost his bucket hat, so.
Oh no!
Spilled the whole cart. It appears. He's trying to sort out who hit him and why and where.
Did anybody catch the license number of that truck? We should say Jeff Person and his team. And all of the umpires, the folks that are doing.
Okay, some extra.
Hello.
Now.
And we mentioned the umpires. The umpire does exactly what you do in that situation. You toss the ball and make everybody get back to business. And this one is kicked inside 50, and thankfully that spot fire seemed to have dispersed as they go up, and a great intercept marked by Hansen, who will play on quickly and send this one towards a yawning goal square. The problem is that it wasn't that yawning. There were two defenders back, and the fullback made a nice chest mark and out-released the Devils up the left side, except that one will be intercepted as well. And that one was picked off by Justin By.
Very close to a 50-meter penalty. He was not in that contest and shouldn't have made contact there, and he cleaned him up a bit afterwards.
Big tackle put on and getting bear hugged. And it's going to be a ball up as he had no prior opportunity, and that was Zorni who was in there to apply the tackle on Big Josh Friday.
Both sides would have considered that a good result to get that tie up there. North Texas just didn't want the Frees playing on again, and the Frees thought, well, we're in forward 50. Let's do a restart and go.
Stevens, Orr was in there. So too was Mason for North Texas. Here come the Devils. They need 2 goals at the very least. Plenty of time, you would think. 8.5 minutes to go, a little bit under, and the ball is taken. And it will be a free kick going the other way, and the Devils not happy about that.
So that's for holding. We're not getting the signals out of the umpire. I think we have a trainee on the game, but that would have been for holding. He didn't have possession of the ball.
Callahan able to find a target, and it's about 60 meters out. And he'll go all the way back. They're telling, you can hear pick up on the field mic that telling McLuhan, a.k.a. Hanga, to go into the forward line. Well, told to play on. Does so off of a step, but I believe they're going to reset. They're going to pay a 50.
Over the mark. He must have thought he heard play on or something. I don't know. He's asking what's wrong.
I think what happened, you heard the umpire whistle. I think that was the signal to hurry it on. That is essentially a quick warning to the kicker that he's going to get the play on signal close, and that was set up as a set shot. So I think whoever it was on the mark thought that was a play on.
Critical moment here. I think if the Frees kick this might be out of reach the way that the Devils are playing right now. So that 50, bringing it in within goal range. It wasn't before, but is now. This could be the end of the game right here.
Well, they're setting the mark. We're going to call this about 25 meters out. The angle is roughly 45. Again, off of one step, and again, it's through for a behind off to the side, off the foot of Nathan. I'm sorry, check that off of Ben Stevens, the vice captain. So 1 point and a let off for the time being, 5-2-32. On the Watch AFL scoreboard for Minnesota, they're up by 11. North Texas on 3-3-21.
I don't see North Texas doing it at this point, which is what I'm seeing. They're late to the contest. They don't have the numbers.
Well, there's another one off to the side, so another behind, 5-3. So now it's 2 goals exactly, SARS.
Went to build out through Mason there. No one went with him. He was all on his own when he cut back into the middle of the field, had no options to help build the ball forward.
perhaps things may have, you don't want to have seen that they've put the cue away and are thinking about drinking at this point. But that appears to be the case with the Devils. Listen, they're a good side. Every time we've seen them at Nationals, every tournament we've seen them, SARS, they seem like they're constantly improving, and that is the case this year as it has.
The umpire is actually sorting something out here. So there was a very, very strong tackle, but a fend-off applied. It looks like the fend-off might have slipped high because it's going to be a freeze kick. They took some umbrage to how that was executed. So I think that must have slipped high up into the throat or neck. And then he promptly kicks right into the mark. So that'll add to the little bit of fuel here. That this is getting a little bit chippy.
Yeah, you could kind of see it bubbling under a little bit, and yeah, it's you don't want to see that, especially this early in the morning and really at any point in the tournament. I will tell you, and I don't want to jinx anything, that we didn't have any major flare-ups yesterday. In talking with April Munn, the president of the USAFL, she gets a lot of the reports. We only had one red card across the competition yesterday, so it is way down from last year, which is good. This kick is going to be either short or offline. In fact, it is offline, and it's another point to the freeze. 5-4-34 to North Texas, 3-3-21. So now it's a three-kick game with under 5 to play, 4.5. That one's going to be smothered, and staying with it there is Robertson, who's up on the far side. He's going to handball it over. Here come the Devils, who again have not given up. They've had a great season. It's a shame it's going to come to an end in this fashion as the top seed. They were the top seed in this group coming in. They're going to finish, unless they can pull one out of the hat here, they're going to finish with a 1-2 record. Minnesota would have, if Philadelphia / Boston or Boston / Philly were to have lost that game, I think they would have enough to get up on percentage. We haven't heard from that game yet, but the way that if you go by form, you would tend to think that the Hawks-Demons combination would probably have that game wrapped up, but I don't want to have egg on my face, especially with Martin Coventry and the Steelheads who we saw yesterday. Here come the Devils trying to push the ball down forward as this one is sent in, and we have a whistle downfield. I think they're going to end up paying that downfield, or is it going to come back? Yeah, it's going to. Oh yeah, they're going to pay it. There's a 50-meter penalty that they're going to pay, so they're not going to pay it downfield. So there's a difference. If it was with that sort of pass interference situation we were talking about earlier, then it would be to whoever it was downfield that was in the infraction. Because the infraction happened before the kick, they ended up just moving it downfield. Big tackle, but I don't think he had the ball.
Called a push in the back.
Yeah.
Free kick there. North Texas, again, just not quite getting the numbers. Mason had that free kick earlier after the 50 was paid downfield, and he had no one to handball to. He bombed it in.
Chapman with the kick for goal. They were trying to, I don't know if that was an accident or what, but they were trying to move the goalpost. But in any event, it's through for a behind. So that's the first point for North Texas in this half, and they go to 3-4-22. And it's back to 2 straight kicks, and I think it might be a bridge too far at this point.
All a bit contentious here in this contest. There's little chippy things happen all over the place.
Friday not with a great kick. He's going to have to try and chase it. Denny is there. Friday is there in support of Denny. Gets a shepherd from Friday. Went for a short kick. Pounded into the ground by Jacoby Smith. Comes out to the near side now and just kept in play by Canterbury. Friday picks it up with the left foot. Sends this one down into the ground. Clean bowls the 2 players going after it. Robertson has to scramble back. Now he has to make sure he doesn't give up the free kick on the push in the back. And we have Agro Twister out there. And we'll have a ball up with about 100 seconds to go. Minnesota's going to finish the weekend 2-1. It looks like it's going to come up maybe a little bit short as this one is kicked inside the 50-meter arc. And this one will roll and just sneak through for another behind. So that may be the last say of this game, or at least on the Watch AFL scoreboard. 5-5-35 to North Texas, 3-4-22. Ball comes up in the middle of the ground, and it's marked. No Play on quickly to the Devils. Not the greatest of kicks as it scrapes this lush turf here at the Kino's South Sports Complex. Goes out to the far side. It'll hop, it'll skip, it'll be picked up. They'll turn this one quickly. The Minnesota Freeze women, we can hear them on the far side. They'll be playing at noon as they'll take on the Golden Gate Iron Maidens in a semifinal. It'll be the first time that they've met them outside of a grand final. They've met them the last 2 years in round robin play on the old format. And in both of those cases, Minnesota has won. In 2 out of the last 3 cases, they've split the 2 grand finals that they've played in those 2 years, and Golden Gate won before that. But we'll see how they go in a few hours' time. In the here and now, however, this one is sent in, and it's over the top, but there was a whistle, and all that's going to get blown back.
Well, the Freeze a bit pedestrian then, because there it is. There's the siren. They knew time was winding down. They didn't need to hurry for any reason. It's a very nice comeback. So they end up kicking 5 straight to come out winners here. They just got the work done in the end. They steadied just enough when they were back against the wall early in the midway through the first term. But they got that goal before half and then pumped in 4 straight after.
Yeah, absolutely. And they deserve this victory. I think they really, really stuck it. They really, really stuck it to them in the second half. And hats off to both teams. You know, we're working under the assumption, well, let's see. We haven't confirmed anything yet as to whether or not Minnesota's in the grand final. As we said, all Philadelphia had to do, we just checked. We haven't seen any updates, unfortunately, yet from the other field. So we'll, of course, be live here. We'll keep an eye on things for you and update you. But irrespective if that's the end of the season for Minnesota, you know, it's a great way to go out. North Texas, I think, really did well during the course of the year. And, you know, we saw both teams over there. You see them right now. And I'll tell you what, we just saw these 2 teams over the course of the last 40 minutes pound the tar out of each other, and there they are on the other side shaking hands, wishing each other well. That is great to see. That is everything that embodies the spirit of this sport of Aussie rules football, and it's irrespective of what happens, that's a great way to cap off the season.
Yeah, well done to both sides. Well done to the Freeze. Now they're probably anxiously, eagerly awaiting the result coming from the other field, and then someone will start doing complex math to see, if necessary, if Philly ended up losing, to see who goes through. But that's not the result we're expecting from that other field. I expect Philly to go through from over there.
I would say a 12-point victory is probably enough to beat Philly if Philly lost by any margin. By just about any margin, but that's not for us to say. So that's going to do it for this particular game. SARS and Jason Becker will take you through the next game, which is a semifinal. We have the Division II semifinals on this field here on Cooper's Field. It'll be Seattle Grizzlies and the DC Eagles. The other semifinal will be happening across the way as the San Diego Lions face off against the Baltimore Dockers. We have a women's semifinal as well going on elsewhere that we'll try and keep you up to date on, as well as a couple of games from Division IV and Division V. But we'll have that Division II semifinal on the men's side between Seattle and DC when we return. You're watching the 2025 USAFL National Championships from Tucson, Arizona, presented by Tasmania here on AussieRulesUSA.com.